Hey, how's it going, guys? In this video, we're going to be covering high-low zones, or as other people like to call them, supply and demand. I don't like to call them supply and demand. I think it's a little bit too mainstream, and people draw them differently. So when someone says, you know, I drew a supply and demand zone, then you don't even know how they drew it. If they drew it on the wicks of the candles, if they use the whole body, you know, you don't know their method. So I'm not going to call it the same thing. What I'm going to call it is high-low zones. And the reason I call it high-low zones is because I'm actually picking out peak highs and peak lows, and I'm extending them into the future to see how price reacts towards them, right? So I'll draw one out right now. Just give me a second. Let me just draw out couple peak highs, peak lows I see, right? Peak high right here, peak low. This is on the weekly chart, alright? It doesn't have to be on the weekly chart, but as long as it's a higher time frame, you're gonna get more accurate zones, alright? You're gonna try to have at least 3 touches. You don't need 3 touches. Usually 2 is good, just like a trend line, right? But you want to have at least 2 touches and then run into the future. The way I do it is like this. I do it only on the tip of the wick, so let me actually delete this. Alright, I do it on the tip of the wick, and for this, I'm going to use a small box, very lightly colored, so it's very, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't mess up your whole chart markup, you know what I mean? Very light color. Can you guys see that? Very light color gray. Alright, so let me actually extend it more into the future. So this is NZD CAD, I believe. So yeah, I drew this zone from right here. I use only the tip of the wicks. Okay, so let me actually zoom in, and because I know I'm gonna get asked that. Alright, I use only the tip of the wicks right here. You see this initial wick? I use the tip of it, but I don't go all the way down to the body. I went down onto the cross right here to the doji. Alright, and I'm going to show you a different example. Let's do this one right here. Zoom out a little bit. Right here, the tip of the wick only, okay? Right here on this tip of the wick. Remember, peak highs, peak lows. Market structure and raw price movement would help you with this, alright, a lot. Boom. Peak high right here, pull back, break through, struggle, break through, come back, retest. Just swing back and forth between each zone. See, broke it, came right back up, retest again, near miss, came back up, retest. See how price is just swinging back and forth. So what I expect price to do is actually, let's see, on the weekly chart we still have a bearish candle right here, but it looks like it's rejecting off that zone. I mean, it already hit it once, twice, 3 times. Third was a near miss. 4 times, broke through it, closed above, came back down. 5, 6 times. I mean, it already touched the zone so many times that I'm expecting at least maybe a pullback, maybe a small drop. We would have to see how the next daily candle and the weekly candle closes. I just want to focus on the zones right now, not predicting the future. Basically, the way I use them is these are basically you can use them as targets, or you can use them as actually support and resistance, and you can actually use them to spot the higher lows, lower highs. So what I mean by that is, watch this. It's a very easy concept. All right, so we have our initial zone, right? Our first zone we drew out from the top, from those wicks. Run it through. All right, we have so many touches that we know it's an accurate zone. All right, it's an accurate high-low zone. Okay, so price breaks above, creates another peak high. So probably there's some orders there. So that's what happened. Boom, closes it upside down, bearish candle. The big wick to the top, possibly starting a downtrend. We have a lower high right here. So let me actually write that out. So we have a peak high right here. Peak high. And we have a lower high right here. Lower high. Alright, and then we actually have a break of a low right here. Let me see low, breaks the high, come back down, breaks the low right here. So we actually have a lower low right here. Lower low. Color that red. That means going to a bearish trend. Lower low. Right here, when we got a break. We have the retracement. There's a lower high. So we're going to have to see if we actually have a lower low here. That's what price looks like to be setting up, but the thing is, it's in a range. That's the issue. that we're in this tight range right here. So we would have to use other techniques to actually predict the future on this. But what I want to really emphasize on you guys is these zones are going to help you, and they're going to help you make these spots easy trades, very, very easy trades. This is a higher time frame, weekly chart, but you can do it on the daily 4-hour chart. Try to stick to a higher time frame, more accurate. Also, you have less zones, so try to do from major swings, major swing highs, major swing lows. Okay. So let me actually work off of these and go back a little bit right here. I see a peak high right here. Yep, and it gets retested. So right here, I'm going to do it from here. Zoom in. See this high right here? How price kept retouching it? Finally broke through. Come back. Breaks through. Comes back all the way over here to retest. So let me actually draw it out from this wick right here. Watch. From this one. Only the top of the wick. Very small zone right here. Very, very small zone. See it? Very small zone. Alright, get ready. I'm going to draw my rectangle tool. Only the wick. Run it through. Run it through. Run it through. Run it all the way through. Boom. Let me lock it. Doesn't move and make sure that's accurate. Needs a little bit more. You gotta be super accurate with these guys. Alright, boom. Right on it. Alright, right on that wick. Okay. Notice how price came back up to it. Failed to break. Come back down. Break the low. Close back above. False breakout to the downside, right? Didn't close below this low. So I would probably do a zone right here. Once I see this touch and then it breaks back up, I know it's possibly a good zone. All right, I try to do not that many zones, guys. I try to keep them, to a minimum, because then you're gonna have crazy amount of zones on your charts. This is just to help you spot possible trade setups in the future. Okay. So yeah, to this high. When I drew the zone from this high, notice how I came right here, second touch. We have a third touch right here, finally broke through, come back. Another touch right here, finally get a breakthrough. And then we finally get a touch right here. Looks like it made a harmonic pattern, but it's a little bit more advanced stuff. But it did another touch right here, breakthrough, didn't close below. We finally got to close below, but price came right back up. So this zone is valid. For me, this zone already has a lot of touches and a lot of rejections. So to me, that's a valid zone. Okay, try to have at least, let me write it out for you guys. Try to get at least 2 to 3 touches on your zone. Make sure it's at a peak high or peak low. Make sure it's at a peak high, peak low. Extend into future. Keep color very light so your charts don't get, start going crazy. So for your zones, make sure to have 2 to 3 touches. Make sure it's at a peak high or peak low. What I mean by that is go on a higher time frame, daily, weekly, 4-hour, and make sure that you're drawing your zones off swing highs, swing lows. You see how the market just swings back and forth? Those are good zones right here. All right. If you get crazy consolidation like this, watch. Let me go back in time. On a smaller time frame, I could probably show you an example, but right here, you see this right here? It's hard to do a zone right here. I would actually have to do it from this low, tip of that wick right here. But you see, you don't get 2 touches. You see this low right here? That's actually the yearly low, all-time low, I'm sorry. See how we don't have 2 touches? It's still a valid zone, but that's literally the all-time low for this pair. Okay. So if price comes and touches it again, I know it's going to react to it for sure, because this is all-time low. Probably going to do a false breakout, pull back, retrace, and then finally break through or something like that. But we don't have 2 touches on that, so that's a future zone really. Let me go back. See these spikes both ways. There's no zone there. Boom. Get a high here, breaks through. but you don't get those nice touches. See, this is a nice little zone right here because you get a lot of touches right here. Watch. You see this up move, pull back. See how I made that little wick? If I look to the right, see how price reacted to that area beautifully. Boom, zone, small zone. Very, very small zone on this one. And basically what you're looking for is price to be showing you some type of rejection candles like that. You see this upside down hammer, right? On the weekly chart, if you saw that off your zone, right? You already have multiple touches. You have 1, 2, close above, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 wicks. This wick finally broke through all these lows and this low, but it closed all the way back above. You're going bullish for sure. Yeah, that's an entry right there, but we'll get into entries in more advanced videos. So we have multiple touches. Once again, our rules are followed. So let me actually extend this into the future. See, these are good zones, guys. Especially doing this on the weekly. Do them very light colored so they don't obstruct. You know what I mean? These are target zones. This could be target zones. This could be where you're going to take your profit because you know it's going to struggle there or bounce. All right, makes sense. And you also get retest there. So little last kisses. Like, let me show you. Okay, so we already have those. We have 2 touches right here. Actually, 3 touches right here, and then it's a good zone. I'll run that into the future more. See, the nice thing about these higher time frames that you can do your markup and hold it and just not alter your markup for years. So these are the rules. Make sure to write them down. These are just high-low zones, guys. People call them supply and demand, like I said earlier. But let's actually get more into it. I'm going to erase that. Okay, write it down. All right, let me start. Okay, this is on the weekly chart. Let me go to the daily chart and show you how powerful these zones actually are. How much opportunity you're going to see. Watch daily. Boom. See, you have your 3 touches. You have opportunity all right here. All right here. There's counter trend trades right here. We got a breakthrough. When you see that big wick, actually that was an all-time high. That is actually the all-time high. So I would probably do a zone right there as well on the daily chart. But what I would do on the daily chart if I'm going to do a zone, let's say I'd be like, oh, this is an all-time high. Let me draw it off that wick and run it into the future. I don't have 2 touches, but it's an all-time high. Still a valid zone. It's still peak high. Okay, what I would do is actually color it a little bit different color. So I would do, let me do maybe a super light blue. Make it very transparent like that. Yep, that's good. So I would actually extend that out to the future and fix it up. Make sure it's right on the wick. Super accurate. Accuracy is everything. Lock it. Boom. That's my peak high. That's why I drew that box there. And that's why I did that box all the way down here. So since this is the peak low, I'll change that to a bluish color as well. Make it very, very see-through. Almost transparent. Boom, that's beautiful. See? Very, very, it's just give you nice targets, give you nice areas where you're going to see price struggle. Okay, so I mean, there's a trade right here off that reversal pattern. Trade right there off of pullback retracement. Testing market structure. These are basically the retests. What I want to go over now is actually, now that you know how to draw them, let's actually go over the retest of market structure. So, right here, watch. Let me see a break of structure. Let me erase this. This is where you're going to see your actual trade entries as well. Okay, let me go back to raw price movement connected to the first video. Draw that black. Okay, what I'm doing right now is just drawing the raw price movement just to show you what I mean about the retest on these zones. See, that's our zone right here, that little gray box, right? Off the weekly is a daily chart. So right here we have a structure break. You see how this lower high, you've been in a downtrend, right? Been making significantly lower highs right here. Okay, I'm gonna label it out actually for you guys. So our peak high. There's our peak high. Here's a lower high. Lower high. Lower high. Lower high right there. Lower high. Boom. Lower high. Boom. Lower high. Finally get a breakthrough of a lower high. Might be going into an uptrend. Remember, structure is everything, guys. So this is going a little bit more into market structure, but what I wanted to show you guys is actually the retest of these zones. All right. So as you can see right here, when price broke through above this lower high, the trend might be starting. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The reversal might be starting. Is what I'm saying. When structure breaks like this, look, go back to our raw price movement video. I'll do a small horizontal line right there. See how price broke it? We get a retrace, came back to retest the low again. Market structure. What did I say? Came back to retest the low, and it just spiked through the zone, but it never closed below it. That's beautiful, especially on the daily chart. That's beautiful, especially when you do a weekly zone and then your daily is struggling at that zone. It's perfect setups. You get a retrace once again, and this is called a double bottom. Study your market structure. And what I actually mean by that is, look, when the lower high got broken and it came back to retest the low, it also retested this zone. That's what I'm trying to say. It retested this zone before taking off. And when you finally get a break above, we actually start trending into an uptrend. What do I do in this situation? I do not buy on the breaks of the, let's say if market structure breaks, what I like to do is I like to wait for a little pullback, all right, to see if I can get a better entry into the uptrend. All right, so my entry would have been probably on this little pullback, right to that structure right there, right to that lower high. All right, when price broke above it, like, let me color this arrow blue because we're starting. This is when you know you're going into an uptrend. Boom. This little retracement, I'll color it red. That's when I'm looking for my entries, right? Finally get a break. Look, we got a break of a lower high right here, and then we get a break of that high right there. All right, so we starting to create higher highs. All right, let me label it. Higher highs. She make it blue. All right, we get a higher high right here because it broke this lower high, and then we get another one right here. Perfect. I love seeing that. When structure starts breaking to the upside, ooh, I'm going to start looking to buy. But what I do is I like to wait for a pullback, all right, either to my zone. Let's say if there is a zone there, I'd wait for a pullback to that. Or what I do is I look for market structure, right? Using my raw price movement that I showed you guys in the first video, I start looking for the highs as well. You see, these are peak highs as well. They're just on a smaller time frame. A little peak high right here, and as you can see, when it finally broke through, uses it as support. Very simple concept, guys. Whenever a high breaks, and it's going to actually continue in that direction of the break, it's going to come back to retest. All right, always. Most of the time, it's going to come back to retest. Sometimes it'll just take off, but most of the time, you're going to get a retest. All right, so this is where you're going to look for your entries right here. Okay, so let me erase this arrow, and let me put an entry in there. Okay, let's say I saw that big candle on the daily chart. I'd be like, oh, look at that daily bar, red bar, but it's right at support. Now it's support, right? I'm actually going to wait I'll probably wait for a rejection off of it before I take the trade. So I would wait maybe a day or two. I would see, well, it looks like it's not breaking. Try to enter here. My target, you can either do, we'll get more into more advanced stuff. This is more advanced stuff, but my target would probably be right underneath that next zone. See that next zone up there? My target would be right underneath, maybe like 50 to 100 pips right underneath the zone. Okay. And my stop loss is going to go right below the low. Right there. Real tight stop loss. Okay. A real tight stop loss right underneath the low. If I entered right on this candle, my stop loss goes below the low. A little bit below. Like that. Boom. Alright. So basically off the daily chart, you're having a little bit bigger stop losses, obviously, but I would go on a smaller time frame, like a 4 hour, and try to have a good stop loss there. Where if I'm wrong, I'm going to know it quick and I'm out and I just wait for the next opportunity. Boom, we finally get a break. We get a higher high. That's our clue right there that we're going into an uptrend, and also we're making higher lows. So Let me actually label that. Higher low. I'll make that green. Okay, bolden it. Oops. No, the green's too bright. Something darker. All right, perfect. Right there. Higher low. Higher low right here. Compared to that low, we still get a higher low right here, and higher low right here. And as you can see, we keep trending upwards. Got a higher high, higher high, got a higher high right here, higher high right here, higher high, and then we start getting lower highs right here. So lower high, lower high, lower high, bottoms out right there. That's market structure right there. You see that higher high right here? If I just do a horizontal line right there, boom, become support in the future. All right. So this trade, let's say you did take this trade and you're gonna put your take profit right underneath that zone. Remember, weekly zones gonna take a while, right? I mean, this trade took, let's see, 2-3 weeks, right? Daily chart, at least 2 weeks. You're gonna have to be in these trades for a while if you're doing it off these higher time frames. But these are big swings. I mean, 600 pip swing right there, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Just using basic basic understanding of the market. All right, I hope you guys are seeing it. Make sure you start drawing. As you can see, we make higher highs, keep trending up. All right, very simple stuff, guys. All right, so so I don't take, if I'm going to be trading against the trend, guys, I have to wait until the structure actually breaks. All right, so I get that question a lot. So I get asked, I think the trend's in a bearish market. I mean, I think the trend is bearish. But can I actually put a buy in? Can I go against the trend? And I say, yes, you can. However, you have to wait for a significant structure break, and then a retest, and then a takeoff again in that direction. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is breaking a lower high, got to retrace, finally break it again, break another higher high, make another high, break a previous high. Then we make an actual higher low. So this is what I forgot to label right here. This higher low right here. All right, because it's higher than this low. That's why it's a higher low. Okay, and that's why I started trending upwards, made a higher high. Boom. That's more market structure, guys. So I'm going to be going into that a little bit more in the next videos. Hope you guys understood the zones. All right, just focus on the zones. Plot them out on the weekly. Try to do them real light colored, and then you can plot one on the daily. But try to keep it on the higher time frame, weekly, daily. All right, and make sure once again you follow the rules. 2 touches, 3 touches minimum. All right, 2 touches minimum. Try to have at least 3 touches and extend it into the future so you know it's a strong zone. Keep them tight. All right, keep them right on the wicks. Don't put too many on your charts. You want to be very, very simple. You see how this chart is very, very simple. This is I think New Zealand Canadian. All right, so if you guys want to mark it up just like this, let me go on my weekly chart. If you guys want to mark it up just like this, that's fine. You guys want to follow the zones, go ahead and pause it here. Weekly chart, NZD CAD. Alrighty. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned a little bit more about market structure and these zones. I'm going to get more into it in more advanced videos. This is just a little introduction on how to draw them. If, let's say, price repeats this peak high, I'm going to look to see if it's going to break or not, or if it's going to reject off of it. I know it's probably going to pull back to this previous zone and then possibly use it as support and then take off again and then break this. If it breaks this, I'll wait for a small pullback, then a rejection off of that top of that zone before I buy again. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. On to the next video, guys. Peace.